Are you high right now?
Not off weed, but off life right now. I need some gas right now, but
Now, speaking of marijuana,
yeah.
is this for medical purposes or recreational use only?
Recreational use only. I like having fun with it.
Did it begin as medical purposes for you by any chance?
Not at all. I started smoking at 21. Be real with you, I'm a roll weed. I don't know how to roll weed.
Care to share your current age at this point?
My current age at this point is 29.
8 years later,
Yeah.
still don't know how to roll weed.
Ain't got time for it. Ain't got time for it. When the homies rolling up, they roll up for me. I appreciate them, but I ain't got time for it. I'm too busy on both my phones, figuring out the next move or recording it. I'm always on go.
And what's the reason for 2 phones?
Oh, business and personal.
Now, how often do you use marijuana at this point in your life?
Shit, 7 days out the week. If I'm in the mode to really smoke, if I got an urge to smoke, I'll smoke on that day, which is if it's a Monday. But at 7 days out the week, probably like what, twice out of every week.
And what does it do exactly for you?
Make me feel good, creative process, just to mellow me out, vibe me out. When I'm high, I just chill back, I stay mellow. I look around, pay attention. I'm already pay attention, but I'm more focused, locked in.
Is it a type of marijuana you smoke?
Man, I like the indica, I like it for sure.
And does it get any more specific, like a particular strain name?
Nah, just, my thing is if it's an indica, it made me feel cool, made me feel laid back. As long as it's anything that make me relax, so.
And care to share what you use to smoke it?
It can be a backwood, it can be a paper, it can be a blunt, a bowl, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying?
Any particular flavor or variation of any of these items?
I like sweet aromatic backwoods, and I like banana backwood. Or a honey Dutch. Dutch is cool too. You know what you know.
And just for transparency, are you sponsored by any of these brands you just mentioned here?
Man, not at all, but we need to lock it in for sure. Like backwoods, honey Dutch, papers, come holler at your boy. For sure.
Ever consumed a synthetic version of marijuana?
Oh, hell yeah, one time. Like edibles, one time, hated the shit.
Well, synthetic meaning a fake version.
Oh,
of marijuana.
no, not at all. Can't do that.
But you have done edibles one time in your life?
I've done edibles one time in my life.
And what happened with that?
Bad experience. First ever time at the BET Awards, I'm throwing up. I'm trying to get into the joint, right? I'm trying to get into the BET Awards. I'm throwing up bad, like I'm all over the place. So after I got done throwing up, Childish Gambino walked up. He was like, "What's up, bro? You good?" I was like, "Yo," first time I ever really got starstruck for real, because I'm a fan of Childish Gambino. I was like, "Yo, you Childish Gambino?" He said, "Yeah, you all right?" I said, "I'm just high as shit." But after that time, I said, "No, I can't do that because I don't like the way it made me feel."
What was it that you ate exactly, and what was the reason for vomiting?
Man, I was eating a lot. I was eating cookies. I was eating gummy worms. And one thing about me, if I'm that high after I eat something, I get to laughing. Like everything's just funny to me. I didn't like that. So I said, yeah, that was a one and done. And I did that when I first turned 21 out in LA for the first time.
And do you remember what year of BET Awards this was?
I was 29, had to be the 2017, yeah, about 2016, 2017 BET Awards, around that time.
Were you able to make it throughout the whole show, or did you have to leave and exit early?
I made it throughout the whole show. They had bottles of water, so I just kept on taking the water from the production room.
And after you left the awards, how did you do with the edible for the rest of its time in your body and things of that nature?
I was wavy, you know what I mean? I wish I would have never took it, but I was on cloud nine. I still was able to function throughout the day. I just had to get that shit about me. I had to throw up.
So no more vomiting after that?
No more vomiting after that, not at all.
And was that before the show started or during the show?
That was before the show started, because I was trying to figure out how to get up in there. And I was waiting for a credential. So before the credential came to me, I ended up throwing up right in the back, kind of like on the side. And that's when I seen Childish Gambino and all them. But it was a interesting experience.
And those edibles, just a additional question here, were those like some homemade edibles, or was this something you purchased from an official marijuana store, for lack of a better phrase, dispensary?
This was a dispensary, because at the time I think LA was one of the first states to have it legalized. So this was a dispensary, and when I tried that, when I'm telling you, I did not like how I was feeling. I said never again. Some of the homies like edibles, and they be trying to get me to eat them. I be like, no, I'm straight. Mind over matter.
Now, when it comes to marijuana,
yeah,
asking you respectfully here, but are you addicted by any chance?
Not at all. I believe addiction is a mindset. I believe that I'm my own drug. I'm like Wayne said back in the day, I'm the ultimate high. I can stop at any time. Like, I don't drink like that. But if I want to drink, I'm gonna have a drink. If I want to smoke, I'm gonna have a smoke. It's all in the mind.
Would you consider yourself a social marijuana smoker or a social smoker?
I would say, yeah. I mean, if we're at a spot and, people breaking down on weed and if I got my own weed at the time, yeah, for sure. But, I smoke, pass the blunt. But they say pass the piece like we used to do. I say pass the blunt like we used to do. You dig?
Now, speaking of drugs,
Yeah.
aside from drinking or smoking, have you quit any drugs you've used in the past?
I've never been a drug addict, not at all. Have I tried some shit? I've tried lean before, for sure. You know what I'm saying? It was sweet, but I ain't like the fact of having a gut. You feel me? So I was like, nah, I can't do that. And plus, I don't like being asleep. I like being on point. It's 24 hours out the day. I got to maximize all of my time, not some of it.
Now, you weren't addicted to lean back
Not
then.
at all. I tried it like once or twice, trying to fit in, be cool. But I realized it wasn't for me. Give me some wine, give me a good blunt, and I'm good to go. Maybe some Hennessy, but
Would you consider yourself a social drinker?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if I'm out and about and I ain't got to drive, and I'm out and about, let's say we at a club or we at, the studio, or it's a function, whatever, and it's a vibe, bottles getting passed around, for sure. Definitely at the club though, because bottles come back to back to back to back. My favorite drink is Moet. I love Moet. Champagne is one of the things I love a lot. So yeah, I'll say I'm a social drinker for sure.
What is it about Moet for you?
It just the glass, the bottle be all sparkly and shit. It just tastes good. It shit look cool, and I look cool and I'm grabbing that motherfucker.
Is it a variation of Moet that you enjoy?
I like all Moet, and I don't just have one variation. Anything Moet stamped on it, I'll drink it.
And again, not sponsored by any of these brands.
Man, I need to be, man. Shit, as much as I'm talking about it and drinking, hell yeah, I need to be. But no, I'm not sponsored by none of them.
Now, when it comes to any of your drug use in the past,
Yeah.
do you have a horror high story? A bad experience while you were high? And this can be any drug you may have experimented with. Doesn't have to be in reference to marijuana or an edible, but unless that BET experience would be considered your horror high story.
That's definitely the horror high story. That's the top one right there. Or I was in a studio back in Jersey. My man's French Montana was in the studio, and I was in there, and I think I did have some lean, and I was dozing off. And you don't want to doze off in those studios because you don't know what can happen. You don't want to fall asleep around nobody because you don't know what can happen. Anybody can run your pockets, whatever the case may be. So that probably be number two when I was dozing off. That's what made me be like, nah, I'm cool on that shit.
Care to share what age you were when that took place?
23.
And one more question about cough syrup. That was just for recreation, didn't start as medical purposes.
It didn't start or nothing. I just felt like I seen Wayne do it. I heard me and my drink. And I'm like, oh yeah, that should look cool. Walk around with a double cup. You know what I'm saying? So I thought I would be cool trying to, once again, influence. That was the influence in my life. I tried it, ain't like it, and yeah.
Now, what is your opinion on, and it doesn't even have to be recording artists, but people that drink from a double cup, but it's not necessarily cough syrup in that double cup. It's not even a drug in that double cup, but they are sporting the double cup, which alludes to maybe the fact that it could be cough syrup in there.
Yeah, I mean, be cool how you be cool. You know what I'm saying? Different strokes for different folks, for sure. I don't have nothing against it. I mean, it's a fashion trend. Hell, shout out Lil Wayne. He made that shit popular. You dig what I'm saying? So, I mean, people, it's a look. It look cool in pictures. You walk around with the cup, you drink the cup, niggas don't know what's in your cup. Hell, Wayne said it best. I don't care if it was heroin in my cup. It's my cup. Fuck you. So, yeah, shout out to everybody that had a cup. You feel me? Get it how you live.
Did you ever do that? Speaking of influence, where
Yeah.
you had the double cup because you liked the way it looked, but it was literally no drug in there.
Oh, hell yeah. Shit, me and my brother, Reese B, I was telling you about in Vegas, all the time, man. When we first linked up, we used to go by the slushy boys. So we'd be like, what's in our cup? I say slush. Nothing but slush. Slush can be anything. Pop, cough syrup, shit, candy. It's slush, nigga.
And when it comes to the phrase brother,
Yeah.
are you biologically related to Reese or any of the people you mentioned in this interview that you use the phrase brother for?
Shit, damn near should be. I'm an only child, but shit, man, my parents love him. Like, you know what I'm saying, like a real life brother. So, and plus on top of that, bro that looked out for me on some shit, vice versa. So yeah, it's like my mud brother for real.
And how did you two meet?
Crazy, man. I met him through his big brother named D-Boy. D-Boy, one of the, I call him one of the wise legends in Joliet, Illinois. I met D-Boy back in Illinois. He was not able to go on the road with me because I would always travel. And he was like, you know what, I got somebody that's your age, y'all can move and groove together. So he introduced me to Reese. First time I met Reese, this nigga asked me to get him a black from the gas station. I'm like, who the fuck is this nigga asking me to get him a black from the gas station? But ever since then, we've been locked in like twins, for real.
And do you remember what age this was in your life when you meet Reese?
24. 24 going on 25.
And what's Reese really like?
Man, one of the realest niggas I ever met in life. You know what I'm saying? One of the most loyal people I ever met in life. Bro will give you, you know what I'm saying, the shirt off his back if he could. Real stand-up individual. And I call him the GOAT because his music speaks volumes. Can't nobody fuck with that boy. And I'm saying that, I stamp him. Can't nobody fuck with Reese B on the music tip.
Now, what's the best advice you ever received from him? Or most important thing you learned being around him so far?
Man, stay focused and fuck what the haters gotta say. Do you and shit, get money. Facts.
And for clarification, was this advice you were given or something you learned?
It was something that was, I mean, advice, it's something that's having a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, always protect yourself at all times. And he always say stay dangerous. You know what I mean? Because it's a cold world out there. So every time he tells me, be smart on how you move in these streets. Don't be a lick and be on point. Because if people can get the one up on you, they'll get the one up on you at all times. No, it's no different than how my father gave me that advice either, so.
Now, there is music between you two.
Oh, big music, a lot of music, yeah.
How many songs publicly available amongst you two?
Shit, well, we got, the first one was called RealYungG, that's like 5 songs. And then we got The Hangover, which we dropped in 2020, that's about 7, 8 songs. And then we're working on a project right now called Mud Brothers, and that's finna release. It's been in the works, like we damn near could drop it right now, but we're in for the right time, right moment.
Anything else you want to mention about Reese or question you weren't asked people want to know about him?
Like I said, bro, one of the coldest artists in the world. I feel like he can go toe-to-toe with every artist out right now, like one of the coldest individuals in the world. And he represented Las Vegas. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he the face of Vegas, personally. That's my personal opinion.